Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Eva Carlton about the Really Loud House premiering November 3rd on Nickelodeon and Paramount Plus. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is exciting. I mean, a lot of people are familiar with the animated Loud House. You know, it's a chaotic environment with such a big family and everything. What was your mindset when you were cast? Tackling this character a little bit? Like, did you want to do a lot of research? Did you go back and watch the cartoon? Like, what was the mindset specifically?
Well, when I was auditioning, I kind of made a point to not watch it. So I kind of stopped watching Nickelodeon by the time The Loud House was on, or when it came on. So I had never seen it when I first auditioned.
Okay.
And I watched a few inspiration clips of the cartoon, but I made sure not to go too deep into it. And also I made sure to not watch the movie. They made a live action movie.
Yep.
And I didn't want to watch that for a few reasons. One, just being that I didn't want to, I guess, subconsciously mimic what the other actress did. And I wanted to be able to put my own spin on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually forgot the other reason as I was just talking, but that was the main one. Was that I just I wanted to do it my own way. But after getting cast, I've made sure to watch especially Leni heavy episodes because I want to do her correctly, and I don't want this live action character to be different and untrue to the inspiration into, the first one.
Absolutely. What was it like when you're officially going to to film this show specifically? What was it like knowing that your character also has a lot of scenes with a lot of actors because it's such a big family? Like, how was that specifically for you?
It's crazy because there are so many characters, so many series regulars that a lot of the times the scenes, like I'll be in a lot of scenes and I'll only have one or two lines in the scene because we're all there together. But it was also crazy because there are so many characters and they're all kids.
Yep.
And before getting cast in this, I lived a pretty normal life in that an 18-year-old girl, rarely spoke to like 11-year-olds. But now I'm with them all the time and I love them. But it was crazy.
Is it starting to hit you a little bit that it is coming out pretty soon on Nickelodeon, Paramount Plus? I mean, it's a weird kind of thing, right? Like where you go, you film something, you wrap, you play the waiting game. We recently got a trailer. We got a release date. Is it starting to hit you a little bit that like people are going to be able to see it?
It's starting to, but it's also not because I'm filming now. We're still filming. We filmed, I guess, 10 and now we're filming another 10.
Okay.
And so it still feels like I'm just working on a little project and nobody's ever going to see it. I was actually talking about this with my co-star recently. Her name is Sophia Woodward. She plays Luna. And I was talking to her about how, to me, filming this has just felt like it was a thing I was doing. It was work. I was working. And I've often forgot that there's going to be a product, that there's going to be someone who sees it. I think as we get even closer, I'm going to realize it, or maybe I won't even realize it until I see it on TV.
Yeah, no, for sure. It's interesting too, because I always find it crazy about all the waves of like announcements for a show to actually get like released. Like it's crazy to me. There's so many steps if you think about it, right?
So many trailers. I remember, so when I was coming out to film again for the back 10, my mom and I stayed in hotels and we were watching Nick at Night. And you know how they just like run Friends. And I saw the first Loud House trailer when I was staying in this hotel, and it was insane to me. I mean, I'm not even in that trailer, but it was still crazy to realize that I was going to be on Nickelodeon, like how I guess people were like when I was younger and when I watched them. It's weird realizing that now I'm in that place.
to add to that, do you do a lot of kind of self-reflection? Like maybe like when you work, like you say, you're working, you're not really thinking about this stuff, but it's like, yeah, like there's been many kind of iconic shows over the years from Nickelodeon and everything, and you're part of that Nickelodeon family now. Like, what is that like kind of being part of that family of Nickelodeon shows? Specifically, this is live action, but it's kind of based on a very popular animated series. What is that mindset for you being part of that Nickelodeon kind of world?
Like you said, it usually doesn't hit me until I'm talking to someone on production or someone on the team like Jonathan Judge, who is our executive producer and one of our directors. And he's worked on so many Nickelodeon projects. That's when it hits me. Or we went to go see Big Time Rush, the cast did, and we got to meet them because Jonathan and Julian, who is one of our ADs, they worked on Big Time Rush. And that's again when it hit me like, oh my gosh, this show that I watched 13 years ago, like these are the same people. This is like the same team. That is what I'm doing right now.
Yeah.
So there are a few moments, and it is crazy to me. And I think I haven't fully processed it.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps saying that my life is going to change and then I will process it as it's happening. But for now, my life is still relatively, I mean, it's changed a lot. I moved across the country and I'm filming a TV show, but I'm still like I would say I'm still very, very, very normal. I still live a normal life. So
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Big Time Rush. I actually, a couple of months ago, spoke to James about a movie that he was promoting. And can you imagine, though, like, at the time when they're, like, making the show and they're touring, how crazy those schedules can be? Like, there's probably no time for anything.
No time for anything. I just kept finding it crazy when I was at that concert. This is the other just crazy moment for me. I need to find an adjective for crazy, but I'm not an adjective. Yeah. You know,
wild. It was wild.
Yeah, it was wild. That I was sitting in this crowd and I was like, this was a TV show on Nickelodeon 13 years ago, and they are still selling out venues 13 years later. And I was saying this to my co-stars, and they were like, yeah, Eva, like, and that we're about to be on TV and have a similar like impact. I mean, probably not the same as Big Time Rush because they're also a boy band, but it's still insane.
There's a lot of fans from Loud House all around the world. Like I covered the movie as well, and there's a lot people love that, are excited about the show. I do find it interesting because, and I feel like a lot of people would agree with me that are working on the show, Eva. I mean, I feel like, especially with the show, like the animated show, the movie, and now there's the actual show. It's like familiar territory, but at the same time unfamiliar territory. And I think you kind of opened the interview talking about that a little bit. Did you consider that a little bit of a unique kind of situation for you as an actor as well, where it's like people know the Loud House from the animated show, but like this is a whole new thing. And the live action is trying to be its own thing, right? It's based on the characters animated. Like, did you think about that as like a unique situation as well?
It is definitely a unique situation. I think for, a few reasons. One of them just being our characters, how they look.
Yep.
So it's interesting because we're a different series. We're in the same franchise though. And so because of that, our appearances were super important. They had to be perfect. It was very important that our costumes were perfect and as identical as they could be to the cartoon. Our hair had to be exact. So for instance, I play Leni, and Leni is a blonde. And
yes.
So for the first 10 episodes, this is my natural hair color. I bleached my hair bright blonde, and I was never allowed to have any brown showing. I couldn't have any roots. All of it had to be monotone, bright blonde, like the cartoon.
Okay. Yeah. So so you bleached your hair? Well, it wasn't a wig or anything.
No, I mean, now I'm wearing a wig for the back end, but for the first 10, it was my own hair. So that was one thing. And then I remember us talking to our showrunner, Tim Hobart, and he said that our hopes were that we would start this and keep it very grounded in the animated series. And hopefully we can become our own thing.
Yeah.
But now we have to stay very true to the cartoon because otherwise it's offensive. It's offensive to the cartoon. It can be offensive to fans. I just know from personal experience, I've had some passionate opinions about live actions that come from my like beloved animated series that I watched when I was younger.
Yeah.
So I know that it's very important. And that's another thing that can be kind of daunting when it comes to portraying a pre-established character is like, I have to do this right or it's going to be bad news.
To be devil's advocate a little bit, though, this is the Really Loud House. This isn't the Loud House. You know what I mean? It's like when I interviewed people for Top Gun, right? It's Top Gun Maverick. It's not Top Gun.
Not Top Gun,
You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be that understanding. Like, I get it 100%. And these are unbelievably kind of coveted brands from Nickelodeon. People love the animated show, but this is its own thing as well. And I think sometimes that gets kind of lost in translation a little bit, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it definitely can be, but I'm hoping that we get to really solidify ourselves as
absolutely, 100%, absolutely. When they get to watch it, what are you hoping they'll get out of it, takeaway wise, besides having fun, enjoying the characters? Anything else?
I mainly hope that when people watch it, they understand that it's kind of a show for everyone.
Yep.
Because I've just noticed this throughout the course of our filming. The writing on this show is great, and it's funny to people of all ages. Like, yep. I want people, even in older demographics, even parents, to not be like, ugh, when, their kid wants to watch a show, because, sometimes kids shows can be not fun to watch, when you're older. But I think that The Really Loud House is genuinely like a very well-written show. I don't think that it's too like cheesy or corny or kid showy. We've all branded it like behind the scenes as a family show. Like, this is very much like a family show that you sit down and watch with your family. Like, you eat dinner and you watch The Really Loud House.
Absolutely. And it's premiering on Nickelodeon November 3rd, which is amazing. Eva, thank you so much for coming on Popternative. It was great chatting with you.
Thank you.
So it's going to be Nickelodeon, Paramount Plus, The Really Loud House. There's an Instagram account, right, that people can keep up to date with on your end?
Oh, yeah. My Instagram account?
It's just your name, right?
Yes, it's just my name, Eva Carlton.
Awesome. Well, this has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Look out for The Really Loud House premiering on Nickelodeon November 3rd. Until next time, it's Eva Carlton and Petey Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.